So, welcome, Will Sparshott, the roofer.
Apparently.
No, I've worked with you before. You do some good shit.
Yeah.
So, you've been on a bit of a journey, haven't you? You recently got back from Scotland.
Yeah, man.
Why-
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Totally fucking forgot.
I wanted to get you on just as you got back because that was a bit of a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
Why so?
Why did I go there, or why was it a life-changing experience?
Why did you feel the need to go?
I've always wanted to go. Never, I could have gone abroad for the same amount of time, and money-wise, pretty much could have gone abroad. But I don't know, I like being outdoors, and you saying you go to the ends of the earth for someone, right? And I'd done it for myself. I went to the end of the earth or the end of the country for myself.
For yourself, yeah.
Yes.
Why did you need to? What was it? What was what brought you to that point where you were like, it sounds like you had a bit of a breakdown. I was like, fuck it, I need to change. I need to do something for me.
I just wanted to go and clear everything. Get a bit of paper and throw it away.
Yeah.
But remember everything on the paper. Just get rid of it. Be gone with it. Lots of things have happened over the years, as you well know, which we can talk about, no problem whatsoever. But it was a mixture of, over the years, not dealing with things and just brushing it aside a little bit. And everything got a bit much, and I just wanted to fuck off. And my only problem was I didn't realise it's 13 hours from the southeast of England.
13 hours drive, all in one shot.
I only stopped for fuel. Yeah.
Yeah. 13 hours by yourself in a car.
Yeah. Hell. For some people.
Inside your own head, trying to deal with whatever it was you were going through at the time.
Yeah.
What was it?
What I was going through at the time? Relationship breakup, still dealing with some of the trauma and shit that's happened to me. It was more of a processing journey, a journey of processing, a journey to, I don't know, just the skeletons in the closet kept falling out. I just wanted to stack them up neatly and put them away. Simple as that. And beautiful experience. Recommend it to anyone.
That's a good analogy. The skeletons in the closet kept falling out. How so?
Maybe I was in denial with a few things, shall we say.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I thought things were all right when they weren't. And I needed to go up there. I could have gone anywhere. I could have gone to fucking Beachy Head, to be fair. I could have gone to Dover. Yeah. But there's something quite mysterious about Scotland. Very... Eerie. The weather's always shit, but, that's Scotland, and you take that, pays your money, take choice. But shut it down and I don't know, I had a bit of social media going and things like that, but just with work and that, wasn't responding. Loads of phone calls like you do, dickheads wasting your time, tutting down the phone at you when you can't put a ridge tile on, because I think they're doing you a favour. But anyway, I want to do it for me, because I've never really done much for me. Done a few things, but never ever been selfish. Having children, that changes your lifestyle and all that stuff. But it's more the fact of just going, fuck it. And it was quite spontaneous. I think the Thursday before I booked up, all I can describe was a toilet block from a cowboy film, a Wild West film. Yeah. It was brilliant. It's just what I needed. I had a bed, had a kitchenette, I think they're called, a shower. Brilliant. But it was just a timber shed.
Perfectly basic. Yeah. But that's all you want. Yeah, sometimes when you're trying to, I guess, find yourself or discover yourself and what's going on in your head, you don't need extravagance. Nah. You just need basics to figure out
you need
what's
somewhere
going
to have
on.
Piss, somewhere to have a shit.
Yeah.
Somewhere to wash, somewhere to eat, and somewhere to go.
So why do you think these skeletons were building up?
I just didn't process things. Never did. Never process things. And sometimes in life you meet people and they're not lessons, because that's a harsh way to call someone, because we're all humans and we all feel things, but they change. They come into your life and they make you realise that you need to act up a little bit, because you're not quite right. Yeah. None of us are ever going to be perfect, but...
What was the telling point for you? There must have been one moment where you were like, fuck, something's wrong here. Either I'm going to end up topping myself or I'm going to do something absolutely drastic. What was the point?
I don't know. I think I just had to wake up and just look at, recurring patterns in my life. Yeah. Relationships breaking down. Me thinking it's a good idea to hide things, not hide things, but me worrying too much about how the other person in the relationship feels. Yeah. And when I'm like a Greek god with the Atlas stone on his shoulder, crouching down, and I'm getting lower and lower to the floor. Yeah. That's what made me realise that I wasn't I was happy in myself, but I wasn't totally happy. I've worked alone for a very, very long time, lived alone for a couple of 3 years, and you talk about hell. That's hell for your mental health. Working alone, living alone, but I love it. I absolutely love it now because I can harness that.
Well, that's it. When you're in that situation, it's the fear of then being lonely and alone. Yeah. But actually, the longer you go into that being alone, the more you become accustomed to it, and you realise actually it's not so bad.
Women are a drug at the end of the day. They are. They're a drug. They're addictive, and you know, if you hop from one to another, you're feeding that addiction. You're not getting no withdrawal when you're away from women. It's like an addiction. The longer you're away from something,
well, you either crave gratification from others and make yourself feel valuable, or you can make yourself feel valuable and see the value in yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Rather than crave it from others, you need to teach yourself to actually love yourself.
Yeah, love yourself.
But it's difficult.
It is very difficult.
It's difficult because anyone can think, oh, I love myself. And you might even trick yourself into thinking that you do. But oftentimes there's things that you're not so sure of. Am I right in having this thought about this? And all right, you can tell yourself you're okay, but we often chase that gratification from others to be like, what you're thinking is correct. Yeah, you're fine with that. But once you step away from that and realize, actually, these are my thoughts. I can't control them. These are my thoughts. So they're the only thing that I can think. I can learn about the subject or whatever it is and, change my mind if I want to, but these are my thoughts on that. So, we don't always need gratification from others. I think it can be misleading as well.
You've got to be able to love yourself before you love anyone else, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's cliche. Yeah. You are never going to love yourself. No one is ever going to love you more than you love yourself.
Yeah, no.
That's a good way to put it, I think.
And the world we live in now, if you love yourself, if you're confident, you're classed as a vain person, you're classed as shallow, you're classed as this, because the internet tells you to feel sad and all this sort of stuff. People do feel sad, but it's a fucking minefield with some people out there. And it's dangerous. But it was a good experience. I really did enjoy it. And the North Coast 500.
You done the whole thing? You done the whole 500 miles?
No, fuck that.
I was going to say.
I've done about a third of it.
Okay.
In a rental.
And was it beautiful?
I've seen some pretty things.
Yeah.
I've got one sitting opposite me at the minute, but my God, the roads, the natural beauty of Scotland. Scotland is probably one of the most beautiful countries in the world you can go to.
Yeah.
I've not been to many, but Scotland is a beautiful, beautiful place. And that North Coast 500 for anyone, if, you want to get a camper van, hire a camper van and do it.
That's the only thing about Scotland that's attracted me is it came up on an Instagram reel. It was like the North Coast 500. And I was like, whoa, is this even like in the UK? Like, what the fuck is this? It's beautiful. So that's something I'd like to do. I'd like to get a camper van and do that. It's supposed to take about a week, but I can't understand the fucking Scottish accent. I can't understand it. So I'm going to be up there and I'll be more lost than I am in France.
Be surprised. When you hit the Scottish border, they're Scottish.
Right.
Further up you go, the accent gets less.
Gets less as they get towards the Antarctic.
Well, when I crossed the borders, I can't remember. It's all foreign, obviously, the name of the place, but I got into the Scottish borders, stopped and filled this stupid rental car out of the fucking fuel tank was about that big. It was useless. So I had to stop 3 or 4 times for fuel. But when I got into the Scottish borders, it was pump number, whatever, fuck knows what it was, but paid for it. And this, I can't do the accent because it sounds slightly... It'll offend someone, but like that.
That's why we're here.
Well, I'm not gonna. I can't even speak English, let alone Scottish. But I didn't understand what she said, and I had to do like pump number. She couldn't understand me, and what I got from her was saying like, "Are you from that Essex?" No, darling, I'm from Kent, the Garden of England,
next door.
Yeah, it's just a little bit south. But yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. But the further up you go, the less the accent gets.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? That Scotland's what, 400 miles away, 300?
John O'Groats was 700 miles.
That's right at the top, though, isn't it?
That's right at the top.
But yeah, just to the Scottish border, it's probably about
500.
5. How an accent can change that much between us down here in Kent and up there. Well, it's crazy, isn't it?
Well, you go from Kent and you go down to southwest, the accent changes in 300 miles. Yeah. And then you go north, within 250 miles, you've got Brummies, or, I do believe, I think it's around about 300 miles. Apologies for my geography.
Yeah. No, everyone, different accents. It's no wonder William Wallace was killed, is it? That's fucking true, isn't it? Like, he probably had some really good points, but no one could understand what the fuck he was saying.
True, very fucking, yeah.
So, yeah, this journey of self-discovery, it was worth it for you, but I want to get into what's got you there to that point where you needed it. You've been through some shit. You say your childhood was a bit rough.
Yeah.
You've had some relationships along the way, all sorts of shit, businesses, all stuff. But all of these things, like you say, you harbour them inside you, and then all of a sudden you feel like, I need to do something or I'm going to pop.
That's it. I didn't feel like a man talking about things.
Yeah.
I felt weak for doing so, which I then you realise it's the complete fucking opposite. You're a very strong man for actually opening up and going, something's up, look, and I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
I had counselling back in, I can't remember when it was, 2000, what year are we, 2023. I had some counselling. Within 15 minutes, the counsellor was crying.
Oh, shit.
I went for a consultation. I said to her, look, do you know what? A lot's happened in my life. Can I have an hour's consultation to see if you can handle me?
Yeah.
Lovely lady. And she said, yeah, no, I've been a counsellor for 12 or 13 years, specialist to do with trauma and stuff like that. I said, right, I said, well, you're going to be the perfect person for me then. Yeah. I got from about the age of about 7 years old up until I was a teenager. Quick 15-minute sort of thing, and she was bursting into tears, and I apologised for her. I went onto the online banking, paid her there and then for it, and I said, it's fine, I'll leave. Yeah. And she continued, and she broke down again in the next quarter of the hour. Yeah. And at the end of it, she was stone cold silent and just looked at me. And all she said to me was, how can you still smile and laugh like you do? Yeah. And I just said, I don't know.
Well, this is it. We build up these defense mechanisms within ourselves, I suppose. But I mean, do you think what happened to you as a younger kid, do you think that's what set the groundworks for kind of harbouring emotions and keeping them to yourself into your adult life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you're a kid, and I'm 36 and 37 in a couple of months, that era, that generation, I don't know if it's millennial or I don't know what I am. Yeah. I know I'm a man, I know that much obviously, but I don't know what this generation I'm classed as or we are classed as. But when I was younger, we weren't allowed to talk about things. You weren't allowed to talk about your emotions. Yeah. I have children now and I talk to them about everything and they talk to me about everything. We make so much time because it is important, because what I don't want them to do is be a kettle when they're older like I was. So growing up, yeah, it was tough. It's very tough with having a very, very violent, horrible father. Very, very violent man.
To what extent?
Fists, punching, all sorts of stuff. This is what I...
Just you or siblings, mum?
I don't remember mum getting anything. The younger brother was... I was in the way. Yeah. Put it like that, I was always in the way. Yeah. Physically in the way, But he wasn't a nice man, but he portrayed to everyone else that he's this beautiful, really loving, kind father. And then it'd be gone. There'd be another bird on the scene and it'd go. Mm-hmm. And it'd be me, my mum, my brother, and very tough times. To see your mum struggling. And I can remember quite a lot from... I don't have any of this cloud or whatever it is, or brain fog shit. I remember a lot of it. And when he'd go away and he'd meet a new woman, and you would go round to a house in Tunbridge Wells, a terrace house in a beautiful area, and you'd walk in the front door and there'd be vodka bottles all over the floor. I can remember the door number, the road name, from being 7, 8 years, maybe 8, 9 years old, sorry, that was. Yeah. And then you see drug paraphernalia, but you didn't know it was drug paraphernalia back then because you were an innocent little boy. Yeah. And then the older you get, you look at that and you think,
I know what that is now.
I've seen that. Yeah. But we couldn't talk about it as kids. You were shut down, dismissed. Yeah. Everything like that. Not a safe environment to be in, but throughout being a child, all I wanted to do was do the father and son stuff you see all your friends doing. I felt like something was missing. Mm-hmm. Was I a good enough son? What did I need to do to try and get his love? To be fair, looking back now, should have just done that. But hindsight is obviously a beautiful, beautiful thing. And then he'd be back, and then he'd be violent. Don't get me wrong, I was never a perfect teenager, or up to teenager, mischievous.
Did you notice a correlation between the drink and drug abuse and the way he treated you?
It wasn't him doing the drink and the drugs. It was these women he'd get with. Okay. That'd be the drink and the drugs. He did drink. Yeah. Quite a lot, to be fair. Bottles of brandy at a time. Yeah. It wouldn't be of an evening. It wouldn't be like, I'll just have one or two or a beer. It would be a bottle of brandy gone in one session. And yeah, he wasn't a nice man for it. But see, what he did is he blamed it on the way his dad was to him.
Well, this is a common factor, and I don't know how true it is. I'm not a psychiatrist, but apparently I suppose the bluntest way to put it is kind of shit rolls downhill. It's like if your father had issues as a kid, that passes on to you. Yeah. And then at some point, someone has to put that block in to not pass it on to their kids. And hopefully that's what you've done.
Yes, and this part of going to Scotland. So long-winded, you know, and all in a roundabout way. Part of going to Scotland was to try and cut this shit out. Yeah. Cut the rotten limb off. And find peace within myself as well. Because inside everyone's head, there's a million. Having ADHD like yourself, it's portrayed in different ways. It comes out in different ways. I like to try and use it as a superpower.
You can try and use it as a superpower, as do I. I don't know what that fucking superpower is yet, though. But one of my issues is, in my head, if I have an issue, I go to every single possible outcome of that scenario. And I ruminate on it for days, weeks, months, whatever it is. And ultimately, it's never the worst fear that comes out of that. Even though I've considered every possible option to come out, it's never the worst one. And most of the time, the anxiety or the fear never comes to light. So, yeah.
I suppose if you've got all bases covered, you're prepared for every eventuality.
That's my argument with my psychiatrist. But apparently I'm to just relax and not think so much. But
going back to him, like, everything was always, my dad never loved me. My dad never said, I'm proud of you. Every time I've got my children, I'm always proud of them. They're my greatest achievement. Always fucking will be. Not that I will, but I could create a very successful roofing business, you know, and be a multi-millionaire. I wouldn't be happy. Fuck that. I'm quite happy being a nobody. But, you know, I could do that. But it's never going to be more greater than the achievement I've got of my children. Yeah. And I remind them every time I'm with them. I text my eldest son, who's 11, and I say to him, I'm proud of you, I love you. Not every single day. Because I never got none of that. But do you know what? It's so easy for me to give that love. Yeah. It's so easy to give it. I could bury my head, stick my head right up my arse and just be like, well, my dad never loved me, my dad never done this. Bullshit. Sorry to offend people, but that's absolute fucking bullshit. Process. Deal with the problem in matter. Cut that tie, break the chain, or whatever these fucking people on these things, these podcasts do. They come up with this thing. Break the chain. Set yourself different. Yeah. Change your mindset. Change the way you look. Change your hairstyle. I've had this one for about 9 weeks now. The barber said, we'll have, Turkish man, obviously, apologies to the British barbers, but he said, have this. He said, you look clever. So thank you. Well, you know, I don't take a compliment.
You ain't fooling me.
No, it's when I start talking, that's my downside. But when I started getting to a teenager, I started realising more about what he was like. And I can stand up for myself a little bit. Mm-hmm. And you stand up for yourself. And you scare yourself with your abilities of what you can do when you are either put in a scenario, in a stressful situation, or a violent situation.
When you're in a stressful situation, you realise you're capable of more than you thought you were.
Yeah, that's my superpower.
Because it's forced upon you.
Yeah, that's my superpower.
And I think that's the same for many walks of life, is that you are capable of much more than you think you are. Yeah. Whether that's physical strength or mostly mental strength. Yeah, you can do it.
We're human. We are fucking clever things.
Did you ever idolise your dad?
No, never. Never wanted to be like him.
No.
Never at all. Never at all. Looked at him and thought, do you know what? He's my hero. With my children, I know I'm the hero. They tell me all the time, and they don't say it in a sarcastic manner. They say it in when we are chatting and talking, and them boys have been through the mill and all love them to pieces. But I am their hero. Yeah, I'll always be their hero. But going back to the story is, my dad taught me some of the most beautiful things ever. And I mean, I'm grateful for him. Yeah. I really, really am. And I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not playing up to the camera or any shit like that. I'm so grateful because he taught me how not to be a dad.
Yeah. It's a very valuable lesson.
Yes. And he taught me how not to be a person. Mm-hmm. He showed me that. And some of my friends have gone, "Cool, you've had it rough." I mean, when he later on in life, he done a runner and left me in a lot of financial shit and a lot of stress and stuff that I didn't really deserve. Mm-hmm. But I got there. I'd done it. And hopefully things like this collaboration, talking about things, might get some people that are watching it go, wow, do you know what? I'm going to be all right, because everyone will be all right. Mm-hmm. It's when you are in a said situation, your head's down like this and you cannot see.
Got your blinkers on.
You can't see one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
So when your head comes up, you've got a vision. If you stand there like that, you've got no peripheral, I think I'm not very clever, peripheral vision. You've got none of it. You can't see what's coming here or there. I look like a flight attendant, and it's here, here, and here. But you can't see nothing, and especially if you're like that. So when you start to pull your head up and start trying to feel proud about yourself. You can see. You've got pubic hair, peripheral vision. Sorry. But no, you get better vision. And it's the same with life. When you think you can't do any more physically, you've still got more left.
Yeah.
Mentally, when you think you can't do it no more.
So what do you suggest people do? If someone's going through a really shit time, really shit, all the shit that you've been through and more, what do you suggest they do?
Talk about it, obviously.
Yeah.
Whether it be someone on Instagram, I'll get a few people message me, asking me questions, sometimes about work, but other times about life. I ain't no life coach. Mm-hmm. I'm 36 years old. I left school with fuck all qualifications. I've got plenty of shit tattoos on me, right? But I've walked the line a little bit and I've understood life a little bit and talk about it.
So it's a really popular term at the moment, is this life coach thing. But I suppose the best teacher or the best life coach that you could potentially have is someone who's lived life and lived the worst parts of it and the best parts of it. And, you know, they're the ones who are able to teach others. The ones who are on Instagram telling you to, you know, wake up at 4 a.m, go to the gym and, you know, go and live your daily life. That's not a life coach. You need somebody who's been through the mill and knows how to deal with certain situations. That's a true coach.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to the gym if it helps. People go to the gym for their mental health and all that caper. It wasn't my thing. It's never been my thing. Look, if I go to the gym, I'll end up more like a paperclip than anything, unfortunately. But you can do that. There's no right. There's no rules on life, right? No. There's no if you're going through a little bit of trauma or shit, or you know your dad was a nasty bastard as a kid, you know. First things first, yes, you have to go to the gym. You don't have to. Mm-hmm. Sometimes what that does is that puts off. I mean, it's just from my experience. I've never walked in a gym. Imagine me walking. I'll be wearing sunglasses all the time. My eyes will be, not if they're everywhere at the minute, but they'll be everywhere looking at the women in the thing. It's just natural, isn't it? I'll get thrown out, to be fair, but you can do that. But what you're doing is you're just brushing stuff aside, right? You make yourself feel good because you look good, right? And you're building yourself up. You're losing some of the dad.
You're trying to love yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, even though it's from a physical point of view, it's kind of like if you're a fat mess, if you're a fat slob, you might think, oh, I want to love myself, but I don't love the way I look. I'm going to go to the gym, work out, lose some weight, get a six pack. Okay, now I value myself. Even though it's very, you know, vain, that's maybe the first step towards doing it. And then you can start to love yourself mentally. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, it's got to come from within first. Love always should come from within. I ain't no expert of it, but your love should come from within, because if your love comes from within, it radiates. Mm-hmm. Some people may not be the most attractive people on this earth. You might look at a woman, or I'm single, so I can do it, but you might not look at a woman and go, oh, she's really, really pretty. She may do things, the way she talks, that could be more beautiful than any bit of makeup. Mm-hmm. You know, you see these birds on Instagram plastered with the fake tan. You imagine what their pillow must look like in the morning. It's like someone's had a problem with their bowels. Do you know what I mean? They have a good unload on it, but they're not beautiful people. They are trying to. They've got hurt. They've got pain inside of them, which they are trying to cover up. Starts from within inside. Whether it be fix a broken heart because you've had your heart broken in a relationship, whether it be to lose a bit of brain fog, whether it be to, I don't know, just you've got to love yourself inside first. The exterior, it'll all wrinkle. You know, crow's feet come along, unless I want
Botox will fix that.
Oh, dear me. But each to their own. I quite like the weathered look, and some women do as well. They like the grey hair that comes through and the rugged, weathered tradesman.
Dangerous Dan.
Well, yeah, silly Willy, whatever. But you love yourself from within first. That will radiate out. Once that your love from within, you can love yourself inside. I ain't no hippie, obviously, but that will radiate from the outside. And you will feel that love. The warmth that you've got inside will come out of you. Yeah. So going to the gym, if you want to do that, if you want to trim up because all you're worried about is what you see in the mirror, cool. That's.
I think with the gym, for me personally, it's it's being proud of yourself. So I'll do a class or I'll do a workout, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever. After I'm done, I'm literally dripping in sweat. I can barely walk. My knees are shaking. But I say to myself, I'm fucking proud that I was able to do that. I didn't think I could do that, and I just did. So it starts to build that self-confidence that, I didn't think I could do that, but I actually can. And then you become proud of yourself, and then you do it the next day. And, yeah, you can apply that to mental stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very easily done. If you want to do it, of course. Unless you want to go back to say, my dad was this and my granddad was that, and you want to just put the passing game on and just keep passing the buck and just blaming everyone else.
Yeah.
I could. It happened to me. There's no point in feeling sorry for myself, because the more sorry you feel about yourself in that said moment, that's when this old depression caper starts, right? And it sucks you in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I had a bit of it, but I was so fucking busy running around like a blue-ass fly trying to earn money to sort out financial deficit I got left in, that I didn't have time to feel depressed. It wasn't until I was out of that situation I looked back and I went, fuck, that was actually quite bad. That was really, really fucking bad. But because I didn't have time and the luxury of being able to have a holiday at the time, couldn't afford it. You know, being able to take much time off work because couldn't afford it. You know,
were you purposely avoiding being inside your own head?
I do every single day. No, a little bit, yeah. A little bit, because, like I say, for things I hadn't had the emotional intelligence to be able to process them emotions.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said for emotional intelligence. It's not that you cry watching a film, although I have done. I get a bit teary listening to songs. I love a bit of Whitney Houston. Don't get teary to it, but, you know, emotional intelligence is being able to control and harness your emotions physically, mentally, and towards people. Being able to tell people how you feel. And there's a lot of stigma with the construction industry about everyone being big, hard men, you know, having big biceps and lats, traps, and fuck knows what else going on. That's all right. There are people like that, but they're not men. You know, real men wear pink, sort of, if you like. I mean, I do have a pink Gant shirt. I do like it. I am sort of getting a bit more, how do you say, not feminine, but sort of masculine, feminine-ish sort of thing. Not cross-dressing. That's not a bit.
Not just yet.
Don't know yet. See what happens. You know, see how these women think. If
it works out, if not, you go for the other side.
I can see why men turn gay.
Yeah.
I can see why men turn gay.
Yeah.
See you later, darling. I'm just going down the pub. What time do you want dinner for, bub?
How amazing would it be if you could be in a relationship with your best mate?
I don't know.
You'd have to get over the whole bumming side of things, though.
I personally wouldn't give or take. The man's head, what goes through a man's head, we don't know what goes through a woman's head, as we all know. As men, you don't want to know. Because they say things they don't mean, they do things they mean. It's just fucking confusing. But with a man, at least with a man, you know, right? What does a man want in life, right? Beer, a kebab, a shag, and a nice car.
It's very simple.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The beer, cool. Kebab, yeah. Shag, sorry, not a bit of me. And a nice car, yeah.
Not fast.
Not what I take it. I'll drive a £400 Volvo out of it, for fuck's sake. Doesn't bother me. It looks like it's been beaten with a hammer.
That's a good place to be, I think.
Yeah, I'm content with it. I love it. And it's probably the best car I've probably ever had.
Yeah.
I just get in it. I don't give a fuck about it.
You haven't got to pay for it once a month, and you haven't got to, you know.
People pay what it's worth a month on cars, you know, and each to their own again. But this is where people maybe have some things going on that they want to look professional with some things, and they want people to look at them and go, cool, he's doing well.
They want to, some people, including myself, I was like this at one point, although not so much anymore. It's like you want someone to look at you and be like, oh, he's successful, he must be great, or, you know, he must be interesting. Whereas, no, that car's on finance. I'm not as successful as I appear, and I'm probably not as interesting as you'd think I am. So you're building up this fake appearance of yourself when, it's all about just being real.
Yeah, 100%. And this is the problem you do have with things is, and people in life is what they do is they portray this figure. Mm-hmm. And after time, cracks appear. Shall we say metaphorical cracks appear in the makeup or whatever. And the face slowly starts to slip. And then you realise the beauty aesthetic beauty you see.
You can't hide it forever.
No. And you see this beautiful aesthetics of someone.
Yeah.
When that all gets stripped away, there's nothing beautiful inside of someone. And no matter what people do in life, if you're a beautiful person inside, you always should stay a beautiful person inside. Yeah,
the aesthetics and the material things will eventually melt away. And if you're with someone long enough, they'll see the true core of who you are as a person. Mm. And that's what's really important. You know, whatever goes on the outside, all the materialistic bullshit, that's not important. There's no value there.
No, not at all. Fuck all. I'd live in a porter cabin. It wouldn't bother me the fucking slightest.
Yeah.
With someone I love that I would do anything for. Very difficult finding women with that mindset. in the modern age because of the internet, like social media, like TikToks and that. And these people giving advice on relationships. These Americans saying, well, green flag, red flag, fucking LGBTQ flag, all this bullshit. Yeah, okay, there are things that piss people off, right? And there are things that you should look out for. But everything is categorised into either a green flag or a red flag.
Yeah.
There's no like, well, hang on a minute here. There's a misunderstanding here. Do you call it an amber flag or an orange flag? What's in the middle of a track? It's amber, isn't it? Is it an amber flag? But everyone's quick to judge, pass the buck and say, well, just because of this. Don't do that. Go, look, I fucked up here. I apologise. Right?
Yeah.
I was just trying to protect your feelings, or I thought that was the best way for me to approach the situation.
Yeah.
Do it. Put your hands up and go, look, I fucked up. Then, but like I say, social media don't help with way women, what women want from men. They want a man who's around all the time. They want a man to be a man. They want a man to provide. They want a man to make them feel loved, comfortable, respected. They want a man to earn shitloads of money. They want the quiet house on the fucking prairie, for want of another word. But they don't realise that man has to work a bit. And that man may have to work 6 days a week to give this woman. But what value does she bring to the table? What does she bring?
Well, what do you want? What do you want from a lady?
Not a lot, really. To be fair, longer it goes with being single, I'm very content.
How long have you been single?
Fuck me. 4 months, 5 months. So all of that shit when you see about the relief stage and all this bullshit, I cut. It takes me a little while to cut away. Once I'm done, man, I'm done. I can't.
Yeah. But the more that you're used to getting used to being single, the more you are happy to being single.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Well, that's the best place to be. If you can be happy, because you have to be happy with yourself to be loved by someone else.
Precisely. Yeah, you've got to love yourself to love someone else. Simple. But the longer it goes on, the more content I am. Mm-hmm. Not that, I had any problems in relationships. I didn't find they were ties or all this sort of shit, because we're people, we're individuals. And, with another thing with social media is your person this, your person that. It does sort of, I think to myself, there's not a woman out there for me in a box somewhere, right?
Yeah.
That's just going to go, I'm here. Your person, as so these dickheads say on the internet, don't exist. Your person never has existed, never will fucking exist. You grow with someone, right? You're never going to find someone who is the polar opposite or the polar whatever, the plus of you. You need to grow with someone, develop with someone, and you need to, now and again, both hit rock bottom together. Maybe emotionally, maybe financially, whatever. You see what someone's made of. Like Mike Tyson's, he's probably the only geezer, well, he is a fucking geezer, but he said, when you hit rock bottom, I can't remember it quote for quote, you might have to Google it, apologies if it's wrong, but he said, when you hit rock bottom, the way back up is a beautiful thing. And do you know what? That is probably one of the only, should we say, famous quotes that I fucking think is so true. Because not a lot of people have been at rock bottom when they're on their fucking arse and the floor's wet, metaphorically, the floor's soaking fucking wet, your pants are getting soaked, and it's cold as well, your bollocks are freezing. But that way back up from rock bottom, man, it's a test of character. And
you find out who you really are when you're at rock bottom.
Yeah,
that's where you become defined.
I was still a cunt then. I'm still one now, to be fair, but a funny one.
Yeah.
And apparently good looking, but I don't know, if you tell me.
No.
Oh, right, well, see, that's
you're a solid 5.5.
What out of 6? No, you get told, don't you? Oh, you're handsome, you're this, you're that. And then you start to sort of talk to these women, be open, give them this clarity and all this shit. And they're a bit, right. But the minute you ask a woman, have you been on antidepressants? What's that got to do with it? Jump straight on the defence. I'm just asking a question. Just trying to judge your vibe. Mm-hmm. Trying to judge.
Well, from that question, I suppose you can gauge how honest someone's going to be with you.
Yes.
And how vulnerable someone's willing to be with you. Because that's quite important as well, is vulnerability. Is if we can be comfortable being vulnerable around someone, you know that you're going to be authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what most people just want, is authenticity.
I am me. There's no airs and graces. There is a filter. I wouldn't go round to prospective in-laws, start sitting around giving it shit, bollocks, fuck. That will happen in due time, obviously, once I am comfortable. But, I do have manners. I teach my children manners. Little things. When we're out shopping, they'll hold the door open for women. We get on the tube. I stand anyway. The kids will sit down. The minute a woman comes on the tube, they sit up and offer a seat to a woman. And these women just look at my children and go, wow, that's the way it should be. And again, people lose all this shit. They lose it because my dad didn't teach me it. Bullshit. Be a fucking gentleman. Be a little gentleman. Be the best person you can be for yourself more than anything. Don't be a good person to make someone else happy or validate someone else. Be a good person for yourself. And this is what I was sort of missing.
You were missing these lessons from your dad that you've had to teach yourself, you mean?
No. But being a good person for myself, I was missing that. Okay. This was part of the Scotland trip and part of some of the things that and having the counselling and things like that is trying to be the best person I can be for me first. Because I had this thing, you got to be good for them, you got to be good for them, but you're never good for yourself. You know, I love too much. That's my thing. I've got probably one of the biggest heart. Well, I've got a very big heart, but I love someone so much that when the end comes or when something happens, I've got no love left for me. And I can't repair myself and develop myself after heartbreak or a relationship breakup or, you know, dare I say, previous traumas and things. I didn't have no love left for me because I invested it so much into everyone else trying to make them feel good.
It's disheartening when you give your all to something, you give your heart, everything that you can, and then nothing is sort of, or it ends up to be nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking
it's heartbreaking, you know, it's literally heartbreaking is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about relationship sort of scenarios, but I'm just talking about general things in life. You try your best to help people. Yeah. Not be forceful, but just help someone along their way, along their journey. And again, they've got their destination, Adam. Their destination's here. Mm-hmm. You know, they're starting here. And all they keep doing is just, again, blinking. They're looking down. All they're worried about is that. Yeah. When they get there, they've got no satisfaction because all they've been focusing on is that. That journey, that's the most important part. Because what happens on this journey, you're going to fall over, right? You're going to meet people.
You're going to need picking up as well.
You are going to need picking up, whether it's by yourself or whether it's by someone that's side by side with you. But that journey, that's the most important part. And people forget that. 5-year plan, yeah, cool. Just remember how you fucking got there. Yeah. That's the most important part of it all. And it's just, I'm intrigued to know what them cards are.
We got some questions.
Oh, I thought they were vintage porno cards, you know, the ones you rub when they get warm.
Let's go.
Oh, go on.
What advice would you give to 20-year-old Will?
20-year-old Will?
I can't imagine you as a 20-year-old. I bet you're a right little wanker.
20 years old? Fuck. What was I doing when I was 20? In a relationship with a boy's mum. 20 years old. Working like a fucking lunatic. Yeah. Right? For little pay.
What was your goals when you were 20?
I don't really know. No? I just took every day as they come. I just wanted just to be respected. Just wanted to be respected, whether it was in the industry. Yeah. Due to like the Facebooks and things like that, you'd post pictures in roofing groups to this dick.
Wanting validation.
A little bit, yeah.
Validation from your peers.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is where, again, Scotland changed that. And I had time to process everything. But yeah, it was dick swinging. But what advice would you give to 20-year-old myself? Right. In all realness, carry on. Right? Just carry on. Don't let things get to you because the road is going to be bumpy. If you cut yourself, wipe it off and carry on going. And the second most important thing is you're good enough. Mm-hmm. You're good enough. You ain't, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but to the right person, you're going to be sweet. You're going to be warming and you're going to do the trick. That's it.
If you could have planned your life, would you have planned it like this?
Stupidly, yes.
Because you feel like you've learnt from the lessons of the shit you've been through?
Yeah, man, 100%. Yeah. Without failure, you don't get success.
Or personal growth.
Yeah, but and that as well, yeah. Yeah. True. But without falling over, you don't know how to pick yourself up again. And people are scared to fall over. People are scared to go off of the norm in some respects. People follow everyone like sheep at the end of the day. And then the black one, it's not a racist comment, but the black sheep sitting over here on its Todd. Better to be that one. Sui generis or something, I think the word is. It's Latin for individual. I do believe. You might have to Google it again.
Yeah, it's important to be an individual.
It
really is. Fuck worrying about fitting in, because if you want to be ordinary, the ordinary person has negative £1,500 in their bank account, they're overweight and they're probably divorced. So no one wants to be ordinary.
Well, I mean, the money side of things, negative £1,500, that ain't a bad thing sometimes, is it? No, but in all honesty, being overweight, you can change that.
Yeah.
It's whether this wants to change it. It's like anything. Mind over matter.
Yeah.
And sometimes things do get overwhelming, don't get me wrong. So life does.
Yeah.
But keep this clear.
So out of all of the traumas you've been through, which one has been the hardest that's taught you the best lesson?
Oh, fuck.
Told you it'd get deep.
I know. Which would be the...
Of all the traumas you've been through, which one?
Lesson. Oh, it's tough because I've got kids. I love them dearly. And I am being the best dad I can be for them, obviously, and for myself. So with having a dad like I did, that was a beautiful experience. Because looking back now, obviously, fuck, probably the most recent relationship breakdown.
Yeah,
because that aligned all of my cards, shall we say? And
was it the straw that broke the camel's back?
Yeah,
and
basically.
forced you then to go on this journey for yourself.
Yeah, the cards were aligned, but they weren't in line. They're upside down, inside out. Some were a bit torn and some were folded. It made me act up a little bit. It made me realise that get your fucking shit together. Stop keep trying to fill voids in your life that,
Give me an example. What sort of void?
I don't know, just I suppose, again, going back to trauma, feeling wanted. Mm-hmm. Little things like that, feeling wanted, because I wasn't... Boys look up at their dads as their heroes, right? I wanted to be wanted by my dad.
There seems to be, like a correlation between you lacking that being wanted by your dad and when a lady breaks up with you, it's like, oh, why? I'm not good enough. And that's what's kind of sent you on this path to be like, actually, I am fucking good enough. I'm good enough for me. I am enough.
I just didn't realise. Yeah. That's the thing. And you try and put shoes on that are the wrong size for you sometimes in life. Right? You put shoes on that are wrong size. They look good.
They might look all right, yeah. No one can see.
I can't feel myself. I don't want nobody else. You know what I mean? A bit of that. You might have the glittery shoes.
Yeah.
But they're not your shoes at the end of the day. They don't fit you. They're all right for a few steps or part of a journey in life, but they're never going to get you to your destination.
There's something that's going to be much more comfy.
Precisely. Doesn't matter what it looks like at the end of the day. It's whether it's got value to you and meaning and purposeness. You could have a lovely little bird wrapped around you. Do you know what I mean? Beautiful looking thing. Can't hold a conversation. Dare I say you mentioned the word Hoover? Oven?
Can't cook or fucking clean.
Well, sorry. I'm not a Neanderthal and this could trigger or be an ick or whatever, but I can cook. I can clean, okay? But after I've done 15, 16 hour days at work from leaving, doing work, getting back, and this isn't of an experience of mine, so no one's going to get triggered or whatever, but I'm saying in general that if I was to work 15, 16 hour days, get back to find a woman sitting on the sofa doing completely fuck all, hasn't cleaned up, has eaten all day and hasn't bothered washing up. What do you want a woman for?
Yeah, no, I understand. So you seem like more of a traditionalist where, and it's, I don't disagree. If the man can go to work for 15, 16 hours a day, come home and the kids have been raised, fed and everything else and there's a clean house, that seems to be a good sort of, a good swap.
Equalish partnership.
But if you're in a relationship with a woman who goes to work 10 hours a day, you also work 10 hours a day, then there needs to be that even split of cooking, cleaning and everything else.
100%.
But yeah, you're right. If your lady friend doesn't have a job, and you get home after a long shift and nothing's been done, it's like, what are you bringing to the table, mate?
Yeah, basically, fuck all.
Yeah.
Headache.
Yeah.
It is, it's headache, and it's causing you to having to go, right, I might as well be on my own.
Yeah.
What are you doing apart from wanking me off sometimes or giving me a really shit bit of sex?
Lucky bitch.
Yeah. What value is she adding to my life? She's adding fuck all to it. Yeah. She's suppressing me more because not only have you got your own clothes to wash after a week or a couple of days or whenever you do your washing fucking thing and the hoovering and cleaning the bathroom, but you've got hers to do as well. You've got to feed the lazy thing, right? But again, this isn't through any of my personal experience. I'm saying in a general consensus, why would you want a woman like that? She might be really, really pretty.
Also, let's be honest, that would be reversed for a bloke as well. If a lady's the breadwinner of the family
I would love
and she goes out 15 hours a day, comes home and you've done fuck all around the house, then yeah, what are you bringing to the table?
I would love to be a house husband.
Oh, I would.
I'll get the penny, I'll get the wig, I'll get the pink top, the black skirt, and I'll be doing it round, giving it to Freddie all day long.
That'd put you up to a 7 rather than a 5.5.
Oh, darling. let's get this conversation going. I'll be a 10 by the end of this. Don't you worry about that.
Right, next question. Is there any value in making light of a shit situation?
100%.
So I found myself where, I can't remember, it was the other day, in fact, one thing after another was going wrong. And then something happened, and you couldn't have written it in the worst fucking movie of all time. Like, it was a catastrophe. It went wrong, and all I did, I had to laugh to myself. I was by myself on my own, and I laughed out loud because there was nothing else to do other than fucking cry. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. So I laughed out loud, and I was like, I had to. But yeah, making light of a dark situation. So a prime example, this is a while ago, but my nan passed away about 7-8 years ago, and I was at the funeral. Now, my face, or at the time, I was a different person, but at the time, I didn't really show emotions. People didn't really know my emotions, but I had to be the light and soul of the funeral. I wanted to make people smile. I wanted to make people laugh. I wanted to, bring joy. Obviously, it's a funeral, so you think to yourself, well, it's a bit chalk and cheese, but ultimately, I didn't like to see people sad. So I just had to try and make them smile because then it would make me happier. My nan was one of the most important people in my life. Like,
God bless her.
Grew up with her. But yeah, I couldn't cry. And even when I was alone, I couldn't cry. And it could be that thing that's built into you, men need to be men and not cry. But I think you're right. It's bullshit. But ultimately, I had to laugh to force myself to feel better and hopefully make other people feel better in the same time. But yeah, making light of a shit situation, like can you think of a dark situation where you've been in where you've had to, make it lighthearted or just be like, fuck, how else can I deal with this?
I can't give one.
No.
I can't give one over another, to be fair, but light out of a dark situation. Going back to my dad. Sorry, I'm not going to keep to it, but if you're watching, Dad, thank you, mate. Honestly, thank you so much. How not to be a dad? Yeah, having a shit father example.
Yeah.
Having a nasty, violent, alcoholic motherfucker around you, he's shown me how to be the best dad ever. Because I just do the complete opposite. And it's fantastic. So, yes, you can.
Interesting question, though. Have you ever caught yourself possibly following his footsteps and had to check yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And it scared me.
I've got an interesting question, actually. This is going to be a controversial fucking question.
Go on, I like it.
Because I'm undecided, in all honesty. Giving a kid a smack if they're naughty.
Depends the severity of the smack, depends the severity of the situation. I don't have to do it with my children. All I've got to do is make a gesture to pull a shoe off. And they will run like fuck.
Yeah. Is that because you've given them the shoe before?
No.
Or? No.
I've picked it up before and given it a bit of that. But no.
No.
There's no thing with what you do when you bring violence into a situation.
You teach that that's okay.
You do. You teach that that's all right and that's a good way to act. And it's not. Yeah. So, but what smacking kids, yeah, each to their own.
I also think, and bearing in mind I'm not a dad, but I also think you could potentially go way too far the other way where there is no lesson learned and they keep repeating these bad behaviours.
Where respect comes in.
Yeah.
Where respect comes in, where they respect you, where they should respect you and everyone around you, and you should teach them respect.
Well, what does respect come from? I guess respect comes from admiration and fear. But fear of what? Fear. If you've never acted on giving them a smack or giving them a shoe and stuff like that, it's like, well, what are you to be fearful of?
What should they be fearful of from me?
Yeah, I guess so.
What they should be fearful of from me is the fact that I won't cut them out of my life because they're my kids. But all these cool things we do, all these trips to London we do, like you've probably seen on my Instagram and things like that, all these little fucking adventures we go on.
Yeah.
We do fuck all.
Yeah.
The Nintendo will accidentally have an accident with my van or my Volvo and it'll accidentally get run over. The Xbox, right? The Nintendo OLED, what the fuck they're called, I don't know. But these new Game Boys, basically, about that big, with a colour screen on, they'll have an accident with a hammer. 28-ounce S-Wing claw hammer.
Yeah.
It might accidentally fall on it. So, yeah, there's going to be that side of things.
Ramifications.
Yeah. And just to check yourself, boys, hang on here a minute,
Yeah.
Don't toe out of line.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be violence. The difficulty is, I can't fathom to think who would hit a child young enough who isn't able to understand or talk, but often it's difficult to communicate with kids and they don't often understand. And there's a thing with training dogs, and I know it's different, but it's called Pavlovian conditioning. If a dog acts out, you give it a tap on the nose or a spray, and it realises what I just done was wrong, I won't be doing that again. And I guess that is the idea in some people's heads who think it's okay to give a kid a smack. And it's like you say, it's like, okay, so to what severity, you know?
Well, words can be used just as much as fist, slipper, or whatever. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Mm-hmm. So if you're one of these parents that are always uptight, always stressed, sometimes over fuck all, right? People do get stressed over fuck all. They've got to realise, actually, life is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But if you're one of these parents that always talk to their kid in anger or rage, they're going to know no different. If you talk to your child like you actually fucking love them and want them to be around, and you talk to them softly, and when your tone changes, shame when you shout at a dog. You call your dog, and then you shout it, and the dog goes, oh, fuck me, that tone's changed all of a sudden. Something's up. With my children, you talk to them like they're humans, right? Sometimes they are little bastards. I can't tell them off because it's actually funny what they're doing. So it's like, you've got to give it a bit of that. You're laughing to yourself, but you're like, no, don't do that. Like, you little shit. You little bastards, but fuck me, you're funny as fuck. I can't get over it. But it's instead of saying, boys, come on now, or boys.
It's a difference in tone.
Boys. No, it sounds a bit queer, but it's, I was going to say like a teenage, well, boys, like balls dropping behaviour, like, but my 11-year-old's starting all that. Oh, fucking evil it is. But
that was the most embarrassing time in my life, was when your balls drop and you're trying to chat up a bird or whatever. Don't, honestly.
Sounds like you sat on your fucking nuts and we go, oh, it's that squeakiness. But yeah, so yes, there is light to be made out of dark situations every single fucking time. It's whether this is good enough for it.
Yeah. Right, next one. This one's quite serious.
Oh, God.
Would you rather be an inch in your mum or 1 inch in your dad?
Oh, God. I don't really want to choose either.
We do serious and we do fucking deep and we do stupid fucking questions. This is the stupid one.
No comment. It is like being in the police cell when everybody's like,
no comment.
Intimidating.
No,
none of them. I wouldn't give my dad the steam off his piss. I'd wish him the best now. Do you know what I mean? I wish him the best, and I hope his new life out in Northern Ireland is beautiful for him. Do not get me wrong, but I couldn't do either. I'm sorry if that's. So,
you got to. I'm going to pick for you 1 inch in your mum. There we go.
Oh.
So let's go.
She had a stroke last year, for fuck's sake. Probably even better for a pervert like you, isn't it?
All right. Have you ever thought about how you might die?
Yes, I have. Not as in suicidally dying, but...
Well, tell me about that. Have you ever thought about topping yourself?
Once.
How serious were you?
M23, driving back from Brighton, coming on M25 approach, just where that Vosa place is. They've got the little checkpoint that they pull cars and vans in to check them over. Yeah. Right opposite that is a bridge. Just up the road from it is a bridge, and there's a little dog leg in the thing. So very seriously, as you can tell by my actions, the way I'm talking. Yeah, I thought about it. When things had got really tough and I couldn't see a way out. I'm not condoning suicide. I'm not justifying suicide. I can see why some people want to do it, and I'm not knocking those who have done it.
Because they don't see an escape.
They don't see an escape. But because what they're seeing is they're being preached to online how to do things all the time by these people that have never had no life experience, that have never... Fuck me, they've never stubbed their toe on a skirting board, for fuck's sake, let alone after shit some of us have been through, and we can still smile about it. Yeah. But, yeah, driving back on the M23, doing 60 miles an hour, because that's all you're allowed to do in a van on a dual carriage, or A23, M23 junction. Anyway, yeah, I was going to just, in the inside lane, I was just going to plough straight into it. No seatbelt.
Was that something that happened that day?
Yeah, that was a split second, spur of the moment, that this is it. I was on the inside lane. I started to speed up a little bit, and I was just going to go. And then I got to the middle lane, and I bottled it, and I thought all I could see was my children in my head. And I thought, nah. And that was a wake up call. Yeah, because that was when I'd actually realised that some things were starting to affect me.
I saw something that said it was a study on people who'd survived suicide attempts, and there was a few people. It was done over hundreds and hundreds of people who'd survived suicide attempts. But 97% of them said as soon as they attempted, they regretted it. And that's people who've jumped off of bridges and all sorts. And it just goes to show, you know, the moment that we believe death is guaranteed and imminent and instant, we want to live more life. No matter what comes with it, whether it's happiness, whether it's sadness, whether it's joy, pain, whatever it might be, we just want to experience life.
It's beautiful life. Once you've, like say, you've you've had a bit of shit, you can appreciate life. You appreciate it a lot more. But going back to the question in hand, yes, I had a family member have an accident at work. We're a family of roofers, and it broke all of our hearts. One of the nicest people ever. And so if I'm going to go, it's at work. That's the way. Yeah, I don't do anything else. I don't do like the masturbating like you do, Adam, and things like that. I don't have the stamina for it. But if it's going to happen, it's going to happen at work because of the nature of the danger of the job.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't, it was a medical thing that the reason
why. Yeah, you still do it.
I still do it. I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's summertime, I suppose. You know, the winter's still beautiful, crisp mornings, -10 degrees, and you can't feel your fingers or you bash it with a hammer. Oh, it's just what dreams are made of. Yeah. It's what dreams are made of. It's absolutely a fantastic thing. But it's more the reward for doing it. Yeah. Not financial, but I was going to say,
forgetting about job, but just anything, what makes you feel valuable?
What makes me feel valuable?
Yeah.
My children.
Okay.
They make me feel valuable.
Well, they've saved your life at least once.
They've saved my life, right? And they give me life. They always give me life, my children. If I have a bad day, I don't tell them, obviously. I don't tell them that Dad's had a shit day or whatever.
But is that not contrary to your argument about you should voice how you feel?
Yes, well, I do. I'm getting to it. Slow down. But if I'm having a bad day, I won't say anything to them to start with, but we will chat. We'll always have a little chat. On the phone, in person, video call, whatever the scenario is going on. But I'll always do. And I'll say to the boys, did you know Dad's had a bad day today? Could you tell? Yeah, we could tell. How can you tell? We can just tell. Mm-hmm. So there's no hiding it from children.
Yeah.
There's no hiding it from people.
You can tell by your mannerisms or your micro expressions or whatever it is. Yeah,
the body language as well. If you shut up, if you're completely tense and you're not quite loose and quite flexible or whatever. But what was the question? That was
how you might die.
Yeah, but now my children just give me life. I'm full of it from them, and this is what I was trying to seek from women.
Yeah,
but I didn't hide it all along. This is the thing.
It was right in front of you.
Problem is, you don't realise. You don't realise what you had until it's gone. Sometimes as well.
What we got now? Social media, good or bad? Is it net good or is it net bad?
I would sit on the fence on it.
Yeah.
I would say there's good about social media and there's bad about social media.
If you had a big red button there that said you can get rid of social media right now, would you?
No.
No.
I wouldn't. Controversial. I met you I didn't. We've been work associates for quite some many years now, but I wouldn't have met some people if it wasn't for social media.
Yeah.
Now, I'm big enough, and our generation, we weren't 10, 11-year-olds looking at Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever the fuck that other thing is that my 11-year-old goes on. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called now. But we grew up, we're one of the luckiest generations going that we knew life before social media. Mm-hmm. We knew what it was like to climb trees. Still Honda CB90s. So I've heard.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Sorry, that's allegedly. But we were the last generation that would actually converse with people properly, would be able to hold a conversation down, know the little manners that people know in some respects, as in holding the door open for a woman, walking curbside from a woman.
Yeah.
Modern generations, bruh, or whatever the fuck they do. But so that's why I'm sort of on the fence with it, because we knew life before social media. We know what life is like now. It'll be as good as bad as you want to make social media as well.
Well, I feel like we're old enough and smart enough to be able to pick what we take value from what we see on social media, and we can dissect what's bullshit and what's truth. You know, we're big enough and ugly enough to be able to do that.
Speak for yourself.
But kids might not be big enough and ugly enough to be able to make them decisions. So it's like, I feel like there should be some sort of potentially age limit on social media. Maybe like 16. You need to get some life lessons first, and then
I think there is, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
My oldest was born 16 years ago, but he's only 11. So, but I can see what he goes on. It's a family thing, or I can oversee who he likes, and the same with YouTube as well. Because there was that lunatic telling kids to do things to themselves. I'm talking maybe 5.
I think I remember this.
Geezer wearing a mask.
Yeah, telling kids to hurt themselves and stuff.
Well, the kid. The person who was doing it weren't mentally well. Yeah. But he would blame it on his dad. Mm-hmm. Or he'd blame it on this, he'll blame it on that. Oh, this happened.
Break the chain, brother.
Fucking bullshit. Just deal with it. But so when that happened, I Alfie was alive, but me and his mum like looked at each other and was like, fucking hell, if this is one of them things that go on, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And he wanted YouTube, so we set him up a YouTube account, a Google account, sorry, which we can monitor what website he looks at.
Yeah.
It's nothing, not stalking him or nothing, but it's more the fact of if he's watching these videos, I know what he's watching. I know what his mentality is going to be like. I know what is going to go through his mind. So I will know how to approach that said situation. You can't do it with everyone, obviously, because that's a bit weird, stalking people doing that. But I know how to approach if he's been watching some of this shit. But social media, I'm down the middle with it. I wouldn't hit the red button, but I'm down the middle with it because, like I say, we grew up our childhoods without it.
Yeah. Freedom of choice. We should be able to have social media or not, but we should also be accountable for it and the things that we watch on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're a kid, you need to be overseen by your parents.
Yeah, or you know, or if you're a kid, you need to have some sort of half-decent mentality to be able to watch it.
Sensible. Yeah.
To find me a child that's sensible. The children, fuck's sake, they enjoy themselves.
Yeah. All right, next question. What's a big misconception people often have about you?
About me?
Because you're happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
You put this face on, this smile, this laugh.
Like
is that you being genuine?
Yeah. The minute I'm up at 4 o'clock most mornings, 4:30 at the very latest, I wake up happy. Mm-hmm. I don't wake up going, oh, it's a shit day. Oh, it's just, I wake up happy.
Happy to be alive.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky to be alive. Through things that happened in your life, through just lucky. We're all lucky to be alive. Every morning, and this is what some people should realise again with your mindset, every morning you're able to wake up, right, unaided. You can brush your teeth unaided.
Yep.
You can go and have a poo unaided, right? You can clothe yourself unaided without anyone helping you. You're so fucking lucky. You are so lucky because there's millionaires and you've got years in front of you.
Going back to social media, though, that's when you look on social media and go, whoa, he's got a Lamborghini.
Well,
I want that. I haven't got a Lamborghini. Oh, yeah, I can get dressed in the morning. I can...
All right. You know, you remember the old school saying about cars and men, right?
No.
Man's got a Ferrari. He's not very well endowed.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to say this in gangster term. Man's got a 400 Volvo, but he's still not very well endowed. It's got to give him a big heart. Do you know what I mean? So, but again, fuck the Lamborghini. Fuck all that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Just be happy to be you. Don't try and keep up.
Be grateful.
Be grateful.
Live in the moment.
Be grateful to be alive. Be grateful for life. And
enjoy sunsets. Enjoy looking up at the stars.
Yeah, man, 100%. Not in a hippie, weird way, but also be grateful for people's time. Time ain't free. Now, online dating proves that. You go, right, you ask about, you know, I always ask someone if they're available. Are you available? Mm-hmm. I'm free. I said, no, you're not free because your time ain't free because you could be doing something else. You could be doing paperwork. You could be doing reading. You could educate yourself. Your time ain't free. Mm-hmm.
What would you value more, doing something with me or doing your everyday life, whatever it is that they might be doing? They have this choice, don't they, of like picking how their time is most valuably spent. It's like I can go and spend time with Will, or I can go and spend time with my kids, or I can go and spend time working. They then have to make that choice.
What, women?
Yeah.
I would never force anyone to get away from their
children.
No,
that's exactly what I mean.
That's well out the window.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd just be grateful for 10 minutes of someone's time who I loved. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You know, absence makes heart grow fonder, stronger. Yeah. Some of that's bullshit because that ain't fucking true. But if someone loves you, they love you at the end of the day, no matter what. Yeah. Right? No matter what you've got in your bank, no matter what car you drive, no matter how much time you have available to that said person. So 5-10 minutes is more than enough for someone. I'd never force anyone to choose me.
No.
I've never, ever. Not in a
No,
million
you shouldn't.
If someone wants you, they want you at the end of the day. What's these people say on these podcast things? No answer is an answer sometimes. Yeah, no reply is a reply, sorry.
No reply is a reply. Yeah. So it says more to have no reply.
Of course it does. Like, instead of giving someone the decency and going, look, do you know what? Things ain't working out between us. Or do you know what? You're a really, really nice person, female, cat, dog, squirrel. Mm-hmm. I don't have agendas. Tell me, educate me. I'm a Neanderthal.
Aircraft carrier.
Well, I've got flaps like an aircraft carrier. Bomb doors. But no, it's time. People's time ain't free. And enjoy life. Like I say, there's millionaires out there that have terminal cancer that would love to be you or love to be me.
Yeah.
That would love to be able to, like I say, go about their day-to-day life. So all the time you can do that. And again, this is...
It's all perspective, though. Yeah, it is all perspective. If, like you say, if you meet someone who's got cancer, there's one thing in the world they want, and that's health. You know, whereas you look at the likes of me or anyone else, and it's kind of like, what do you want? Let me reel off a list. You know, it's all perspective.
Yeah, you want it, but you don't need it. You want it to look successful.
Yeah,
but you could be just as successful driving a 400 quid Volvo.
Yeah,
you could be just as successful with some clothes from Primark or whatever. Yeah, you don't need to go and have the big brands or whatever else. People do it for validation. People do it because it makes them feel good, because it makes them look good. This watch isn't worth a wank. It's not an expensive watch, Adam. My mum bought it for me on my 30th birthday, and it's the only piece of jewellery I've got.
So this has the monetary value of pretty much zero.
Yeah, but
sentimental value, that's worth much more than anything.
I got it on my 30th birthday. It doesn't have batteries in it, solar or something. It needs the light on it.
There's a big difference between things that are expensive and things that are valuable.
Yeah. Sentimental value is priceless, obviously. Yeah. And I like it, and I look clever. But then again, this is going back to the validation.
Then you open your mouth.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, when I take my glasses off, it's just the crow's feet. I like the big frames, but it's more the fact is, I have to sort of, you look a lot more attractive now.
Oh, no, don't. Don't. You make me all big-headed. Right, next question. The famous, when did you last shit yourself?
Oh, good question. Now, I think I said to you earlier about it. I can't remember when it was. Went to Diddley Squat Farm Shop, which was now nicknamed Diddley Squit Farm Shop.
Jeremy Clarkson's one.
Clarkson's farm. I was one of the sheep. Sorry.
And you pooed your pants?
Yeah. I had a few pints of this live, I was going to say acid then, live cider.
Yeah.
And it looked like someone had an accident in a pint glass.
Why was it live?
Well, it was like like it was proper. It wasn't strong,
okay.
It was a proper cider.
Right.
And it had bits and pieces in it.
Oh, yeah, because I saw someone making cider once, and there's normally like a film that goes across the top called The Mother, and that's like the enzyme that, I don't know,
this was the motherfucker.
So you drank the mother.
But it come out of, it was in a keg in the wall, come out, I looked at it and I thought, oh, it was nice.
Yeah.
But my intestines didn't like it, and I leaked queuing up at Jeremy Clarkson's farm shop.
What colour were your shorts?
Like a tan chino colour pair of shorts.
Could you see?
The world could see.
Oh, mate, brilliant.
Yeah.
That's fucking... Who were you with?
The boy's mum at the time.
Okay.
So obviously we were in a very strong, funny relationship. Not funny as in like weird, but funny, taking the piss out of each other. And she just couldn't, once she started to laugh,
she couldn't stop. I would have laughed. I'd have been exactly the same. No. I wouldn't have helped either.
No, she didn't help. We got to the... I don't know if it was we were queuing up or tell a lie. We were driving in the motor to get to the thing. We stayed just down the road, and we're in the motor going to Clarkson's farm. And... just a bit windy. Like a scene from Blazing Saddles where it says, "More beans, Mr. Taggart," when they're around a campfire. Oh, that's all right, these feel solid. Anyway, parked up, got out, and it's gone boop,
all over the fucking place.
Literally pebble dashed. Fuck me. It like someone had got a curry and thrown it out the wall. But it was all up my back side. So yeah, it wasn't nice. It was vile. It took us ages to get into the car park.
Yeah.
It took us ages to get out of the car park.
And you're covered in shit.
I stunk.
Yeah.
It smelled like a nappy. And I've had experience of nappies with my children. It was unpleasant.
I love how you're so honest about this.
I don't give a fuck.
And have I told you why I asked that question of when was the last time you shit yourself?
Why is that? Have you just done it?
No, the reason why I ask is because if somebody says, I've never shit myself since I was a baby, you know that the preceding conversation to that is going to be bullshit and they're not going to be open and, it's going to be...
That was the funniest moment where I shit myself, but it happens sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I had piles at 21.
I've never had piles.
I wouldn't.
And that's me being honest.
I wouldn't recommend it. It's not something that you brag about.
What is it? Does it feel like grapes coming out your arsehole?
It is like a big grape coming out your bumhole.
Just one?
I had two of them. But then they rear their ugly head when you least expect it. And what they do is they suffocate themselves.
Do you have to poke them back in?
That's bullshit.
Right.
How do you know? Tried it. Tried it in a bath. No, that's all bullshit rumours.
Or you could pop them.
Yeah, what they do is when people have braces, they have the little elastic... No, don't put them in your mouth. I know the way you looked at me.
Yeah, I was like, what'd you do, bite them?
No, like Face from the A-Team. No, you can put an elastic band around them and it suffocates them.
Oh, it cuts off the circulation and then
blood
they
vessels
fall off.
There is a photo somewhere that I can dig through the phone and we can come back to it. I've got evidence of a pile bursting when I was at work.
Oh, is that all right? Yeah, if we could have a look.
It's fine, mate. I'll show you.
Fuck that.
No, but it's not of my arsehole. It's going through the trousers. Well, this
with a burst pile. Mm-hmm. So it's blood, basically.
Yeah, it's blood, yeah. It's like a blood vessel or muscle, something like that.
Oh, grim.
But when I was 21, at that age, you think you're the man and all this, and you go to the doctors because when you sit down...
What causes piles?
I lifted a roll of lead. I thought I was the bollocks. Really heavy roll of lead.
Yeah.
I ain't going to cut it down. Fuck it, I'll lift it. Wayne, any of you kids watching this now, cut the lead in pieces and carry it up.
That's a life lesson. Cut the lead.
Yeah. Because otherwise you end up cutting your arsehole open badly. But I went to the doctors and the nurse, I went in there, like I say, I drove up there, sitting on one arse cheek trying to drive. Maybe try, you've got an automatic, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah, you can't do it.
I'm a bitch.
Try driving a manual, sitting on one arse cheek with your legs over the top of each other like that instead of that.
Trying to hit the clutch.
Yeah, it's painful.
Yeah.
And then when you do go over a bump,